Am I David Hasselhoff? Are you Pam Anderson?
This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello humans, and thank you for joining me in another episode of the Gen X Gamer. Remember to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, smash the like button. Now, let's get ready for the show. On today's episode...
Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer 13. Finally, I get to talk about this game. Guys, this is a game that if you're a Gen X gamer, you appreciate in a different level. Totally different level than if you're from another generation. And that's what I want to discuss today, is how age makes you appreciate games differently, because you have different interpretations of what's being put on the screen because of what you lived through, for example. And 13 is a perfect example of a great game that you can give to somebody from Generation X. Now, let me take you back when I first saw this game and I saw the art style. The art style was a real callback to comic book art, really. And comic books were special to us pre-internet because guys, this was the only form that we can control our entertainment. Believe it or not, back in the day, you had to wait until a certain time of the day until cartoons came out. Say 3 o'clock, for example. The good ones, anyway. And only a couple of channels had them. And out of those cartoons, there's only really 1 or 2 that you actually liked. The rest weren't that great. And comic books were a way for kids to control the media they consumed. Because in a comic book, you could pick what genre comic book you wanted. You can pick the characters, the storylines you liked, things that you could never do on television. And in television, you were just a spectator. Remember, these are the days where TV would end at midnight. There was no 24-hour channels of entertainment or anything like that. So for us, comic books were really special. That's number 1. Number 2, the art style was also the art style of the Marvel type cartoons that would come out that were very story driven. The art, the cartoon art and graphics back then weren't amazing, so the stories had to be really strong, and that's something we could appreciate. We would follow these characters not because of the art that we were seeing on the screen, but because of the storytelling. Wow. And that is something that this game has in bundles, and let me tell you why. The game follows a storyline similar to the Kennedy assassination. Again, something that us Gen X gamers grew up with all the time in front of our face. And it seems kind of poignant in the times that we're living in right now, right? But yeah, the Kennedy assassination was always present because it was right after the Civil Rights Movement. Dr. King got assassinated, JFK got assassinated, his brother Bobby got assassinated. So, we were in an era of government conspiracies, constant government conspiracies, and this game is a callback to those times, to that period of time that we were living in, with so much distrust in the government, with the Cold War. Wow, so many things, and this game is based on those things, on those themes, and that's why the game was such a strong call out to many of us that enjoyed those type of comic books and lived through this time, right? Whereas to somebody that, say, was born in the 80s, they wouldn't see that at all. They just thought it was, if the game was good, great, but they didn't see beyond that, for example. But to us, we did. And I got this game I want to say like 3 years after it came out. Like many other games, you know, I waited for it to be on sale. I got a great deal on it. You know, by the time I got the console, it was a little old, but, you know, I still enjoyed it. And I never had time to finish it like a lot of other games. But I remember seeing the art style in the game magazines, and I was like, wow, you know, this game is, I want to play it. There was something mythical about it because it gave you sort of the intro that you saw here, which is, you know, the guy wakes up with no memory. They told you a little bit about the story, and that's how I got hooked on the game. That's how it got on my radar, right? And the gameplay is exactly an extension of a comic book, the extension of the afternoon cartoons that we used to see. And the storyline, like I said, is based on all those times where, you know, assassinations of prominent people were a big part of our lives, and that is the basis of this game. Now, when you're going through the game, one of the things that you can see is that graphics don't make everything, and as a matter of fact, the poor graphics add to the ambiance of this game. And you ask why? How can that be? How can you know, bad graphics add to a game? Well, this character has lost his memory, so it's kind of fuzzy. When he remembers things or tries to remember things, it's a blurry screen, right? And you're already at 480p. So it's already fuzzy. But for those of us that grew up in that era, we wouldn't really complain, because it's, even if you look at those old comic books, they have that grainy texture graphics to them. So it's actually kind of the same. So for us, it's part of the art of the game. It's not really detrimental. It's part of the package. It's part of what the programmers and artists of the game were trying to say. And that kind of really speaks to us, you know, which is, I know, kind of, you know, weird probably for some other generations, saying, well, how can bad graphics be nostalgic? But they are, because that's what we grew up with, right? You get accustomed to certain things, to certain art styles. Now the game has been re-released. You don't have to play it on the Xbox, on the original Xbox. I do, because I have it and I love my Xbox. But to anybody that grew up in my era, to any Gen X gamer that you want to give a gift of a game that they're going to enjoy and play, let me tell you, this is one of them. There's enough callbacks here to them, you know, from the art style, from the graphics popping out saying tap 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 when people are shooting. Those are things that we grew up with and enjoyed, that still bring a smile to our faces, man. And we enjoy these games just at a different level. Some things you might frown upon, we just love because they remind us of our childhood. Yep, you know, sometimes even the bad, what you considered maybe bad times for some other people, are great memories for them. You know, those, you know, I remember being, you know, scared when all these assassinations were going on. I remember my parents being, you know, worrisome all the time, and we were kind of living in dark times, sort of like we are right now, right? But now I look back on these times, you know, and how we got through them, and how we struggled through those times and got over, and even more things that happened. But we're here now, man. We're here now, enjoying it, and we get to enjoy these games, talk about these games, have these memories, and have these callbacks. To me, this game is always going to be special. And I wish they made more games like these. Sometimes they do. There's a couple out there, you know. But 13 was the very first one that I saw with this particular motif that I played, with a strong storyline that I enjoy. Alright guys, that was 13. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember, never be afraid to be happy. I will catch you on the next one. Take care.
Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Gen X Gamer. Remember to like and subscribe, click the notification bell, and remember, never be afraid to be happy. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care.